Hello, Shemai. I'm Isabel, and this is my wild Welsh garden. Well, I'm here in Wales, and it's pretty wild out there today. We have very strong winds. According to the weatherman, it's the end of a hurricane. So I'm in my summer house out of the wind to welcome you to my garden. These videos are completely new to me. I do have to say I am a little bit nervous, and it does feel extremely strange to be sitting here talking to my phone, but we'll give it a go and see what happens, and I hope you enjoy the video. So why start another YouTube gardening channel? If you're watching this video, you're probably well aware that nature is in decline in the UK. We live in one of the most nature depleted countries in the world, where everything is in decline. So wilding our gardens could be very important in helping to stop that decline. Also, if you're watching this video, you're probably well aware of the debate that's been going on over the past couple of years about the whole idea of wild gardening. What exactly does it mean? Well, I think most people agree it's not about standing back and doing nothing, but what do you do, and how, and where, and when? And where do you draw the line? When is a wild garden a garden, and when is it just a mess? A very well-known TV gardening personality said recently that there were two essential elements to a wildlife garden. One was really good garden design, and the other was really good horticultural management and skill. Well, what can I say? I just hope that's not true, because I'm not a garden designer, and this garden wasn't designed. And I don't have any horticultural skill beyond what any other ordinary person has. So this is a bit of a journey. Can I have a garden that's beautiful, that I want to spend time in, and that other people want to spend time in, but that's good for wildlife, and wildlife will want to spend time in, or even come and live in? Well, I do have quite a lot of wildlife coming into the garden already. So I'll show you some of the parts of the garden that I've got now. I have flower beds. I have more flower beds. And more flower beds. I have a pond. I do have to say I've been slightly underwhelmed by the amount of wildlife that this pond attracts. I hear stories about people who put wildlife ponds in, and before they've filled it properly, the dragonflies and the frogs have arrived. Well, this has been here for several years and neither of them have arrived here yet, so I don't quite know what I'm doing wrong. I have a lot of non-native herbaceous plants, but I do try and choose the plants with the kind of flowers that pollinators will like. And there's even a pollinator come to demonstrate. I have a polytunnel. I have a greenhouse, which this year has been a total dismal failure because everything fried in that very hot weather that we had in May and June. But I'll try again next year. I have a very small orchard area, which is a kind of a food forest, except there's a lot of other things in there as well. There's a pear tree and 2 apple trees, and I got them from a specialist nursery not far away that specialises in varieties that are suitable for the kind of conditions here. They're all Welsh varieties, and I can't remember what they are. And then in addition to that, there's some soft fruit underneath. There's different currants. There's a red one, a white one and a black one, and 2 different gooseberries, a green gooseberry and a red gooseberry. And then there's various herbs and things underneath, and strawberries, and I get no fruit off it whatsoever because the birds get it all. I have a veg patch which has got slightly taken over by borage and this orange flower that I can't quite think of the name of, nasturtium, which I have a rhubarb patch which is looking very sad at this time of year. It is actually very productive. And then behind that I have some raspberries. There's a row of summer raspberries, and behind that a row of autumn raspberries. And along the back wall of my garden there is a native hedge which I planted 4 years ago now. It was a collection, I think, recommended by the RSPB. So it has hawthorn and blackthorn and bird cherry and dog rose and Gelder rose. I have a grassy area in front of my summer house. When I first came to this garden it was mostly grass. Well, when I say grass, mostly grassy, weedy grass, scratty grass. I'm sure it's a lot better now. It's not a wildflower meadow, it's not a lawn, it's neither one thing nor the other really. So it is what it is. And you'll see, if you decide to follow me on this journey, you'll see the changes at different times of year and different weather conditions, of course. So I've shown you some of the things that I've got in my garden. I do have other stuff as well, but that's for a future video, which I hope you will join me to see more of it. As you can see, it's not a big garden, but it's not a small garden either. Now I could say that I have a lot of wildlife coming into the garden already. In fact, I think I might have said that earlier in the video, but maybe not. If truth be told, I have no idea how much wildlife a garden like this can support. Have you ever heard of a place called Knepp? It's a fabulous rewilding project in the south of England, spelt K-N-E-P-P. If you don't know about it, if you've not heard of it, then please look into it and read the book called Wilding by Isabella Tree. It will really challenge all your assumptions about the natural world. And it was reading that book really that started me on this journey this summer. Now the rewilding people talk about a phenomenon called shifting baseline syndrome. Now what on earth is that? Well, basically it means that every generation sees the amount of nature that they experience as a child as kind of normal. So a young person might consider a place nature rich, whereas I might consider it quite poor and impoverished, because I, as an older person, remember the days when there were lots more birds in the garden, lots more butterflies flying around in the countryside, and lots more insects splattered on our windscreens. But something that I might consider as nature rich, somebody who lived 100 years ago might consider quite poor and impoverished, because they had far more nature in their world than I've ever experienced. So basically, as time has gone on, we've just got used to the loss of nature and wildlife. Nature and wildlife have declined and disappeared in many cases, and we really haven't noticed. But now we have noticed, and many people are doing things about it. But many people are like me, and we're not big landowners, and we don't have access to big tracts of land that we can rewild. But we do have gardens, and I think, you know, if all us small people with small gardens can get together and improve our gardens for wildlife, we can make a big difference. But I was brought up in the days of Percy Thrower, when we didn't want wildlife in our gardens. Wildlife meant things like weeds and pests, and had to be got rid of at all costs, using insecticides and herbicides and every other means at our disposal. And we had beautifully manicured green monoculture lawns and big blousy flowers with lots of petals and no pollen and no nectar. So actually quite bad news as far as wildlife is concerned. So the upshot of all this is that I actually don't know how much wildlife my garden can support. But I want to improve the situation. I want to make it as good as it can be for wildlife. And that's what I'll be doing, and hopefully sharing in these videos. So I'll be sharing what I do, what works, what doesn't, and what doesn't make any difference. What makes things better, what doesn't make any difference, and hopefully not what makes things worse. And the other thing that I will be doing is measuring the amount of wildlife that comes into the garden. I'll be monitoring it in a few different ways, and I'll be showing you how I do that, and I'll also be sharing the results with you. So over time, hopefully, fingers crossed, things will improve, and I'll be able to demonstrate that. So I do hope you've enjoyed your visit to my wild Welsh garden, and I do hope you'll come again. And if you'd like to know more about what I get up to and the kind of wildlife that I find here, if you'd like to join me on my journey, I'd be very happy to have you along. So if you'd like to follow me, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hwyl am y tro!